Michael here from Soledigital with a short tutorial video on how to install your HB200 load display and connect it to a LiftlogDX using HoistNet. The installation will take about 15 minutes if you follow our simple step-by-step instructions. So let's get straight to it. To begin with, for safety, let's make sure we switch off power to the crane. This video will be covering adding a HiBeam display to an existing LiftlogDX install. So if you haven't already got your LiftlogDX set up, go do that now. And you can click here for a separate tutorial on how to do that. With that out of the way, let's move on to installing our HiBeam. The first step to installing your HiBeam is to figure out where on the crane you want to mount it. You can mount the HiBeam anywhere on the crane you can get power to. We're using HoistNet to connect the LiftlogDX so we won't need to run any cables. The next step is to pick a spot to attach the bracket, and then remove the HiBeam unit from its bracket by taking out the 4 bolts that connect the HiBeam to the bracket, which are on the side here. Make sure to keep these bolts somewhere safe. Now, with your empty bracket, mark out the holes with a marker to indicate where to drill your holes, and then pre-drill 4 holes. You can now hold your bracket in place with one hand and secure the bracket into place using your self-drilling metal screws with the other. Once secured, reattach your HiBeam by rescrewing in the bolts on the sides of the brackets. Your HiBeam has a power cable that looks a little bit like this. So plug the round ended connector into the left socket on the back of the unit like this, and twist the bayonet lock to secure it in place. Now run the other end of the power cable back to the hoist panel like this and secure it down using cable ties. Once back at the hoist panel, trim your cabling as required. Now let's wire up your HiBeam. When you strip the outer layer of the grey cable, you should see 6 wires inside. The first is black, the second is brown, the third is orange, the fourth is yellow, the fifth is green, and the 6th is red. To wire these up is a simple process. 1, the black, is your active, and this will be wired into your control voltage like this. 2, your brown, is your neutral, and this will be wired into your control voltage neutral like this. If you're not doing load limiting and you don't need a tear function, well, that's all you need to do. 3 and 4, orange and yellow respectively, are your overload relays. If you're using this function, wire them in series with the up control signal on the crane. 5 and 6, green and red respectively, are for your tear function. Control voltage on both of these wires will tear the display. So now let's double check our wiring. Black is active, brown is neutral, orange and yellow are our overload relays, and green and red are our tear inputs. Now let's turn our crane's power back on and make sure everything's powering up. If you wired it up correctly, it should be powered up and flashing 9999 at this point. Now take your Link 2 wireless Bluetooth modem and plug it into your PC. The Link 2 has a range of around 100 meters, so make sure you're near the crane during this step of the process so they can wirelessly communicate. Once you've done that, open up your FSU program. You will see all of the Soledigital products installed and within range popping up with icons like this. If you don't, press the refresh button you see here to search again, or click the assistant button here to receive help from one of the Soledigital team members. So a HiBeam has popped up here, and let's click on the HiBeam symbol like this. This will bring you into the commission interface here. And the first thing to do is to name your crane. This crane has been creatively named Style 5 Ton, but you can name the crane whatever you want as long as it's longer than 5 characters. If you want to set load limits, it will look a little bit like this. The crane we're working on here has a limit of 5 tons, so we've set the limit to 5,000 kilograms. Now let's tell the display where to get the load from. You can do this by selecting HoistNet as the load input type option. Now let's set up the HoistNet link. We can do this by clicking the box with the 3 dots here and then selecting the HoistNet device we want to get the load from. In the case of this crane, it already has a LiftlogDX installed, so let's click that. If all of this is correct, you're all good to go. So let's give it a quick test run. And that's it. Simple as. You're all ready to go with your HiBeam HB200, giving you safe and accurate indications of your load on the hook every single time. I want to say thanks to you for watching this tutorial, and thanks to Glenn from Composite Components for letting us film this install inside their workshop. If you want to check out any of our other videos or find out a little bit more about our wide range of products and solutions, you can check our website at www.soledigital.com. I'm Michael from Soledigital, and we'll see you in the next one.